What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ducks and Download, and on this video we're going to be going over another Comic Communications, episode number 9. This time we're covering Yoda, issue number 9 as well, and Star Wars, issue number 36. Now before we get too heavy into comic book lore, make sure to drop down into this comment section and tell me what you guys are the most excited for the future of the Star Wars comics. Don't forget to like the video so I know you're down for more Comic Communications, and subscribe to the channel. That way you can keep up to date with all the book news, comic book news, figure drops, and other reveals from the TV shows and movies. And now, let's jump into the panels. Yoda issue number 9, by the way, got an amazingly gorgeous variant cover, is going to pick up immediately after Yoda 8, in which they are facing off. And man, is it good that Anakin and Yoda were able to take this facility down, because this one droid on its own is enough to almost back them into a corner, meaning an entire platoon, let alone battalion of these things, would have really spelled disaster for the Jedi Order and the Republic. I imagine Sidious had no idea about this, because I feel like that would not have gone into his great galactic plan very well. As this droid finds its targets, locks on, and attempts to annihilate them, it is now up to Yoda and Anakin to destroy this last and only remnant of the Mega Kill droids in order to protect the galaxy at large. This technology can get into nobody's hands. Of course, Yoda does what Yoda does best and is attempting to give Skywalker a little lesson on how size matters not, of course. Even Yoda knows this fight is going to be hard, but nothing is impossible with the Force. Yoda then uses that small size of his to climb the droid, asking Anakin to distract it a bit while he tries to figure something out. Hey Anakin, fight for your life, please don't die, at least give me some time. In this crazy melee, Yoda finds the opportunity to climb inside a panel on the droid, getting into its interior bits. Like many things in the Star Wars universe, if you can't kill it from the outside, go to the inside. Well, this kill droid isn't about to go out without a fight. Realizing that something's inside of its very chassis, what does it do? Well, there's only one way to kill something inside of you, like a virus. You either have to freeze it out or heat it out. And this robot blasts off into the atmosphere, breaking through into deep space, planning to just wait Yoda out, as of course no oxygen and no heat, he can't live in that environment. But while up there, Yoda's able to fling his lightsaber around, grab a few things, rip them out, take this, put that there, take that, put that there, bam. Now of course it's not very hard with a lightsaber to destroy the Mega Kill droid from inside, but now Yoda's pretty much just sealed his own fate, literally his own tomb. As he sits inside this spinning kill droid floating into the nothingness of space, he begins to realize that these might be his last moments. He was able to save Anakin, he was able to stop the kill droids from spreading destruction to the galaxy, an unknown scale. He must now have the ultimate battle, find peace with his death. Thankfully though, this of course isn't where Yoda's gonna die, and Anakin Skywalker is able to rush in at the last second with his starfighter and save the day. Of course though, in true Yoda fashion, there has to be one final lesson. To get Yoda from the Mega Kill droid, it's gonna have to stop spinning and moving through space. The only way to do that is of course to use the Force. Yoda says he's too weak from being without oxygen and heat inside of the chassis, and he's going to have to rely on Anakin to save his life. Anakin is promising Yoda that he doesn't want to do this. This is not a moment for teaching or lectures. If he wants to live, he's gonna have to help. Yoda knows Anakin is strong enough and tells him this he has to do. Guides him through a meditation and reveals to him that again, no matter the chaos, no matter the emptiness of space, there is only light shining from every star and every creature. And with that, he's able to get the droid to stop moving and come to a rest, piloting his ship over. And there's when things only get even crazier, as Yoda then has to cut a hole from the inside of the droid. Immediately then, of course, as it is the vacuum of space, getting ripped out and getting caught by Anakin Skywalker in the back of his Jedi starfighter. And from there, we're going to go back to the ship, the Aspirant, where Yoda's going to receive medical care, and Anakin's going to be able to finally confront him on a huge question he had about this last little bit. He just simply wanted to know, did you really need my help to stop that droid? Or were you just trying to teach me that I had that power within me the whole time? Yoda smirks and giving one of his absolute best Yoda answers. Never tell, will I? I love it. Yoda's a trickster through and through for his whole life. And what a great finale to this 3-part comic series. But is it the finale? Oh no. The comic's main story might end there, but the overarching story that's been going on through these whole comics is finally getting more juicy details. Back on Dagobah, we see Yoda having this conversation with that same spirit or voice that he's been conversating with throughout every single one of these comics. I at first thought it might have been the Dark Side Tunnel or Dagobah's Dark Side Essence itself trying to tear Yoda down. maybe even Qui-Gon. Nope. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi, from recently forgoing his body and becoming one with the Force, there to speak with Yoda to try and pull him back into his Jedi ways to vanquish the evil that has taken over the galaxy. We get a lovely conversation there, though, where Yoda kind of reveals his absolute fear and failure, he believes, in not destroying Palpatine when he had the chance, in allowing Darth Sidious to grow power underneath the Jedi Council's nose. He feels like he's failed the entire galaxy and could never, ever make up for what he's done. Powerful sentiments that we know will not last, and I'm excited to see how the next set of comics are going to deal with this broken down and beaten Yoda. As the comics have been doing, he's going to have to destroy the ghosts of his past if he's ever going to have a clear future. And speaking on destroying some visages from the past, let's now jump into Star Wars issue number 36. A great cover. Sadly, I wasn't able to get the variant I was looking for, but that was a very hard scale one to grab, so I'm not surprised. If you have a specific variant you're looking for a certain comic, put it down in the comments section, and maybe someone else can help you find it. Well, in this comic, as of course Luke is now a little busy with Dr. Aphra, we're going to be going back to General Leia and the Rebellion. There, after speaking with Luke and seeing what's been going on, Leia's hatched a crazy scheme, a once-in-a-lifetime kind of a plan, because now's apparently the only time the Rebellion could ever hope to make this a successful one. Leia now knows Vader and Palpatine, much like Luke Skywalker, are being assaulted by the ebb and flow of the Force, as it seems to almost disappear and reappear at will, completely throwing off Luke's training. Little does she know, of course, that Sidious is not affected by the Fermata cage being opened pretty much at all because he's so powerful. Vader is just more powerful and untamed. The only person who's really suffering through this is sadly Luke. But with this, she thinks now's the time. If other Force users are having an inability to use their powers, if they're all thrown off scale, maybe this is the perfect time to remind the Empire that the Rebellion is not dead and is in fact stronger than ever. They hatch a crazy scheme, speaking with Lando and the other generals, about attacking Coruscant itself. That's right, pulling one right out of Darth Malgus' Ancient Sith book, it's time to attack Coruscant. Now, of course, as everyone says that's not going to work, they speak about having a very solid plan to get behind the blockade and into Coruscant space. And the rest of it's just going to be a very fast, low-flying, quick-going squadron of extremely tiny but agile fighters to make the mission possible. Well, after this successful hit and run, they're supposed to dive deep into the Coruscantine core, traveling through deep parts of the Coruscant sectors we've never seen before, coming out the other end to escape before the Empire even knows what hit them. Whew, what a beautiful plan, Leia. If only things in Star Wars went the way they were planned. Well, the beginning does seem to work out really well, as the rebels are actually able to get past the blockade in a giant ship full of manure. 100%, it's a shit ship. How do they put agent for accelerating algae growth? It's poo-poo. It's Bantapoodoo. That's pretty much what it is. It smells so horrible that, of course, none of the troopers and none of the officers want to try and dig through it to make sure it's really all there. So it's the perfect cover-up. After they get to the blockade, it opens up, dumps all of the poodoo into space, and the ships come flying out as Lando pretty much just reminisces about how at one moment in time, the Millennium Falcon used to be pretty clean. Well, this is when the attack begins. Now, the only other thing they're going to have to get through in space is another set of turbo lasers and a defense grid that, of course, every planet would normally have, as this should be the only defense grid on the planet. And it doesn't shoot at the planet, only away. Well, one of them is taken out, but the rest of the team is able to make it, and they think it's a little bit clearer flying from there, until sadly, the Empire is immediately, of course, aware of their presence, and this Imperial leader is far smarter than a lot of her other counterparts. She does not immediately give in to a full frontal attack like they thought she would, throwing all of the ties at him. Instead, leaves some in reserve and operates another set of turbo lasers that are now on and fully encompassing Palpatine's Imperial throne. With that and the TIE fighters, these guys are getting taken out left, right, and center. The only people that survive this attack are Lando, Chewie, they're in the same ship, and Nien Nunb. Well, this is actually kind of cool because this is the first time we get to see Nien, and this kind of explains how he got to know Lando, and it's a really fun backstory. But before I get too far into that, what happens is the last run. They're about to see the target. Nien's ship is being chased and is shot down. As it's crashing, Lando gets a crazy idea up his sleeve, a ace if you might think so. From there, he tells Nien to have a certain course set. And then, in one of the craziest things I've seen in Star Wars, an absolutely amazing save, Chewie opens the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. Nien jumps from his ship before it's almost destroyed by TIE fighters. Chewie catches him, and they get inside of the Millennium Falcon. Nien takes the co-pilot's chair, and this is where we get to see Lando and Nien's friendship begin, which we'll see in Return of the Jedi as they blow up Death Star number 2. But it only gets crazier from here because we see things in this comic that I've honestly never thought we were going to be able to see. I'm talking levels of Coruscant so low that all there are is trash, derelict, broken down ships, and gangs that think they run the entire level because they've never even seen an Imperial Senate Guard. They have no idea what a Stormtrooper is. Levels lower than 1,000, lower than 500. They get below floor 200 and are almost destroyed by a giant monstrous alien creature that's just down there consuming space trash. We've really hardly ever gotten this kind of a look at the lower levels of Coruscant, and that was brilliant. These comics are dropping such awesome, crazy stuff. Well, they do make it through the other side. They're able to hit hyperspace and escape, being the only survivors. A failed mission. Or so some might think. We then cut back to the Imperial leader, and she is furious because she knows Emperor Palpatine is going to have blood and heads for what has happened. The mission was a success, using Nien's falling starship as the last message. The strike rang true, and his ship collides with Palpatine's statue, destroying its visage, reminding the Empire that the rebels are everywhere, and they are way stronger than the normal civilians will ever be allowed to believe. Mission successful? Well, of course, all that really means is Palpatine's going to be coming back at the rebellion with a hunger and force, because no one makes him look bad. So these Star Wars comics are only picking up, as of course we know Return of the Jedi is right around the corner, and things are going to come to an ultimate climax within those comics. I can already feel it. I'm so excited to see that finish through. Have an amazing rest of your evening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this comic book breakdown. Thank you so much for joining me this evening and talking about some more amazing Star Wars comics. And as always, may the Force serve you.